When you walk into a French provincial style house, the spaces feel like you have gone to an area in the south of France with the lavender and the bright sunflowers. This is a compelling style because it gives you the sense of living in a time and place that had the elegance of the French kings. And yet you're away from all of the hubbub of your own life and just coming in and settling into a genteel interior.
French provincial style is a way to live the good life every day. French provincial style is a little touch of the glamour and the prestige and the aristocracy of France, but in your own home.
These spaces feel like I'm on a European vacation, and I'm in a historical home where, the person who lives there definitely knows their stuff about French history. This style really focuses on ornate details, so you're going to see a lot of that in architecture as well as furniture.
So we're talking about furniture with some real provenance. So think cabriole legs and these other kind of really elegant craftsman-led pieces of furniture. You're going to find some of the more refined touches from European living in this style. You're going to find beautiful textiles, silks, damasks, and patterns that echo this sort of beautiful sensibility of refined French living. The French provincial palette is something that really relies on these beautiful chalky white paints with these pale blues and pale greens and that hit of gold.
The French provincial interior has a very strong farmhouse style to it. The kitchens look as if they have just been dropped out of some country home. A lot of feeling of being out in a farm.
I think people are beginning to lean towards this sophistication. And if you want sophistication, baby, you gotta go French provincial.
French provincial style comes from about the 1600s and is a countrified version of the larger and more elaborate palaces of the aristocracy.
It was an attempt to let non-aristocrats live like the royals. I mean, there's no living like the living done at Versailles, right? So while the royals had these homes with incredibly intricate and moneyed accessories inside, people wanted a piece for themselves, and they found a way to get it. So flooring was a great place to start, and actually the revolution of moving away from marble floors, which were difficult to clean, into wood parquet flooring, which is really just wood mosaic laid. We still use it today all the time.
People were starting to use different materials to achieve the look, so things like wood instead of gold, or gold leafing instead of pure gold. So just finding replacements for those luxurious materials and still achieving that look.
The German liner Fatherland is seized and her decks jammed with khaki-clad warriors bound for the battlefields of France.
So the American Armed Forces have many times over played a role in bringing design and decor ideas back to the States.
The style crossed the ocean and became popular here when soldiers who had served in World War I had seen many of these areas in France. And they were particularly taken with these beautiful spaces in the country.
As this was gaining popularity, an American architect named Frank Forster actually traveled to France to photograph and sketch the chateaus, the manors, the farmhouses, all of it. So he did that in 1926, and what we saw after that was a spate of homes that echoed that style. I think we've never really lost hold of the romance, the grandeur, the refinement of that style of French living. People all over the world, they turn to that to understand really what elegance is. And so we now see that in the way we incorporate antiques, certainly with lighting. Certainly those bare wood floors are a hallmark of that time, and a dedication to textiles, understanding that that's an amazing way to elevate a space.
There's a home in Woodside, California that is a great example of this French provincial style.
The moment you pull up into the driveway, you know you are in a French provincial home.
The home incorporates a lot of the stone and slate that we'll see in French provincial architecture. You'll find a lot of stone that had been brought in from local quarries. The interior incorporates the beams that you would see in French provincial areas, and then also a big fireplace, which the French used not only for heating, but also to cook their food on.
In the living room, we're going to see a lot of symmetry here. The two bookcases on either side of the fireplace are creating more of that formal look, and the fireplace in the middle has a lot of ornate detailing that's going to be really indicative of this style.
The kitchen incorporates a lot of the details that you would see in a home in Provence, not only the soft colors that you would see in the materials, but also there's some beautiful tile in here as well that echoes the colors that are seen in the rest of the house. The bedroom has the simplicity of the French provincial style. It has very subtle fabrics, as we find many beautiful fabrics from the area in Provence. A very simple chandelier, and again, incorporating the beams that you would see as part of the structure of the farmhouses.
There's a home in Atlanta that has a really great French provincial feel. So immediately we go into the dining room, and I love the use of mix-match chairs in this space. The Queen Anne chair is actually an English-style chair, but it pairs really beautifully with a classic bergère chair that is the French provincial style.
The furniture is a much simpler form of the Louis XV furniture that you would have seen in the much more elaborate chateaus that have the very subtle cabriole leg. Cabriole meaning goat sleep, a little curvy leg.
French provincial style is really known for beautiful and ornate case goods, which we definitely see in this home.
The bedroom has a 4-poster bed, and that would have been very typical of the era to keep the warmth in during the cooler seasons.
The use of textiles everywhere, from the canopy bed to the draperies to the really beautifully tailored linens, is giving it a very regal upscale feel. We see a lot of crystalling in the chandeliers throughout this home, which is really indicative of that French aristocratic regal look that is really sought after in this style.
New Orleans is a beautiful city where French provincial style feels right at home. This property in the Audubon neighborhood is a great example. Upon entering the home, the first room you enter is this beautiful living room. You've got these rustic wood beams that are set right against beautifully tailored draperies. The linen sofa paired with a vintage rug. You've got a beautiful antiqued mirror. These are the sort of like dichotomies of French provincial. You've got the refinement meets rusticity. In into the kitchen. You're greeted with this great hood backed in kind of glassy tiles. That checkerboard-esque pattern is really iconic of a casual French style. It feels very much like a country kitchen in that way. Just off the entry is this nugget of a den. It's been painted in this dark verdigris green. It's packed with antiques. These aren't your thrift store finds. These are things that have really been sought after, cherished, but it all comes together feeling very comfortable, very cozy, very inviting, which I think is a testament to French Provincial style.
In order to achieve this design style, one of the first places that I would go to is your chandelier. You want to find an ornate chandelier that has candelabra bulbs that almost look like candles. That will instantly begin to give you that French Provincial look.
French Provincial style is very object-driven and very materials-driven. And if you don't have the means to mirror your home like Versailles, I do recommend trying a gilt mirror over a console, chairs flanking it on either side, and creating just sort of a beautiful moment in your home.
One way that you can bring French Provincial design into your room is with your bedroom. You can easily do 4 posters around the top of your bed and let your drapes go ceiling to floor, and it will feel like Marie Antoinette is about to come over and eat cake with you.
French Provincial is still really popular today because it has roots in history. Each piece has a story and meaning and really is the embodiment of elegance.